The entertainment world is absolutely buzzing right now because a shocking audio recording of Diddy has just leaked. And trust me, it's not looking good for the hip-hop mogul. This audio has left the courtroom stunned, and the fallout could be nothing short of catastrophic for Diddy's legal battles and his public image. According to insiders, this audio recording surfaced during a high-stakes legal proceeding, and the contents are jaw-dropping. We're talking about admissions, confessions, and statements that could dramatically change the course of his case.
New audio has surfaced as part of a lawsuit that accuses Christian Holmes, Sean Diddy Combs' son, of assault. The music mogul is not accused of assault in the lawsuit, but is included over allegations of liability and aiding and abetting. The lawsuit cites audio from a makeshift recording studio on the yacht where the alleged assault happened. This is the latest in a series of lawsuits filed against the rap mogul and businessman. Both men, father and son, deny the allegations against them. CNN national correspondent Camila Bernal joining me live with details on this. Camila, what more are you learning?
Hey, Fred. So in this audio that CNN has listened to, you can specifically hear the accuser who alleges that she was being forced to take this tequila shot that she believed was laced with drugs. And in the audio, you can hear her asking Christian Combs if she was being drugged, and he answers, "Take the shot." Now, just to put things into perspective, the accuser was a crew member on the yacht.
Those who were present in the courtroom described the atmosphere as tense, with even seasoned lawyers caught off guard by what they heard. So, what's in the audio? While the full details are still emerging, sources claim that Diddy's own words could serve as evidence against him. Legal analysts are already weighing in, suggesting that this could be a game changer for the prosecution. They're saying that if the audio is verified, it might be the kind of hard evidence that can sway a judge or jury.
After this incident with the shot, she says she was cornered in a room. She says things became aggressive and physical, and then says that Christian Combs forced himself on her, and then says that it wasn't until another employee on the yacht came into this room that the abuse that she is alleging in this 31-page lawsuit stopped. And she says it only stopped because that person came into the room. Now, I want to read part of what the accuser's attorney is saying right now. What he's saying is, defendant Sean Combs turned what was sold as a wholesome family excursion into a hedonistic environment. It resulted in an unexpected increase in workload for her and for her colleagues, as well as unwanted exposure to unlawful drug use, work, and general chaos. Now, why are they naming Diddy in all of this?
According to insider sources, the leaked audio was recorded during private conversations that Diddy believed were confidential. The recordings, which were presented as evidence in court earlier today, reportedly captured Diddy making shocking admissions about the allegations against him. As the audio played, the courtroom erupted in gasps, with even the judge appearing visibly stunned. The recordings are said to be so damning that Diddy's legal team was left scrambling to respond.
He is accused in this lawsuit of liability and aiding and abetting because he was the one renting the yacht. Now, his attorney, or actually the attorney for both men, also speaking out and denying these allegations, saying this complaint is filled with manufactured lies and irrelevant facts. We will be filing a motion to dismiss this outrageous claim. Again, they have continued to say that this is something that they will fight, that they are innocent in all of this, so we'll have to wait and see how this plays out in court, if it gets to court or if it gets settled at some point, which has been the case with a previous lawsuit. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens as Diddy and his son continue to say they're innocent, and the victims here continue to say that they were assaulted, Fred.
And so while music mogul Combs isn't accused of assault in the lawsuit, he has been accused of a range of misconduct in other separate lawsuits.
One source described the atmosphere in the courtroom as electric, with everyone hanging on every word of the audio. This revelation is just the latest twist in an already complicated legal saga for Diddy. His legal team has been working overtime to manage his defense, but this leak has thrown a massive wrench into their strategy. They're now scrambling to do damage control, questioning the authenticity of the recording, and trying to prevent it from being admitted as evidence.
Holmes' son, Christian, and that has just happened. Yes, in fact, The yacht incident, which we're going to get into, was mentioned in Jones's lawsuit against Diddy, with Jones claiming in the complaint that he had personal knowledge that Christian drugged and sexually assaulted a woman. And a footnote was included that a complaint would be forthcoming. Now, at the time, I was wondering if Jones would be the one suing Christian. After all, he already sued Christian's brother and Diddy's other son, Justin. But I was struggling to figure out what would be his cause of action against Christian. Well, it turns out that Jones is not suing Christian. It is actually the woman who was allegedly assaulted by Christian, and she is being by Jones's lawyer. I will explain. So first, this development comes almost 2 weeks after Diddy's homes in Miami and Los Angeles were raided by Homeland Security investigators. It's part of a sweeping trafficking investigation by the Southern District of New York, or at least that's what it's being reported. That's what sources from law enforcement are indicating.
Social media has exploded with reactions to the leaked audio, with hashtags like Diddy audio leak and courtroom chaos trending worldwide. Fans of the music mogul are expressing shock and disbelief, while critics are calling the recordings a smoking gun that could finally bring justice to his accusers. The revelations have reignited debates about Diddy's innocence or guilt, with many questioning how this new evidence will impact the outcome of the case.
And in these very big lawsuits, but remember, that is civil. That is the civil arena. None of them have been arrested or charged with any crime related to this apparent criminal investigation. But our analysts here on Sidebar expect that at least one arrest will be coming soon. But now we fast forward to Thursday, when attorney Tyrone Blackburn, the man already representing Rodney Jones, filed a civil complaint on behalf of his client, Grace O'Markey. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing her last name, but I believe it is O'Markey. Grace O'Markey in Los Angeles Superior Court, accusing 26-year-old Christian Combs of drugging her and assaulting her in December of 2022 when she was working in a charter boat in St. Martin. So according to the lawsuit, O'Markey says that she had been working as a steward, providing food and drinks on that yacht for a 12-hour period.
Memes, tweets, and videos are flooding the internet as people dissect every second of the leaked audio and speculate about what it means for Diddy's future. But here's where things get even more intense. The recording reportedly includes Diddy discussing key aspects of the case, possibly even contradicting his previous statements. If that's true, not only could it hurt his defense, but it could also open the door for new charges. Perjury, obstruction of justice. You name it, this audio could lead to it.
Focusing on Christian Combs, O'Markey says that Christian Combs had been staying at a villa on the shore, but that he would come onto the yacht in the evening to party. And on December 28, 2022, Christian reportedly arrived very intoxicated and then proceeded to pressure O'Markey to take shots of tequila. She did. Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift studio. O'Markey alleges that Christian kissed her neck, kissed her face, as he groped her legs and O'Markey reportedly told Christian, quote, "Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that." O'Markey then says that she told Christian she couldn't stay with him unless it was approved by a supervisor, all of whom she knew would be asleep at the time. So this was a way for her to get out of the situation.
Let's take a closer look at how this story unfolded. Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, was arrested and charged earlier this year following a series of allegations that have rocked the music industry. The charges range from workplace harassment to more serious claims of abuse, and the case has been one of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory. Diddy has consistently denied the allegations, calling them false and defamatory, but the leaked audio has cast serious doubt on his claims. And let's talk about the courtroom reaction.
Markey says that she tried to go back to her work, but Christian found her again, wanted her to find him a place to sleep for the night. So she ended up taking him to the cinema room for the yacht, which doubled as a place for people to sleep. And she claims that is when Christian blocked her and groped her, took off his clothes, tried to force her to perform oral sex on him. She says that she was able to fight him off until someone came in. Now, the lawsuit goes on to say that O'Markey told the yacht captain what happened the very next day, but he didn't believe her, didn't do any sort of real investigation. She says the captain retaliated against her for months after the alleged assault before ultimately firing her in May of 2023. Now, aside from her account, aside from a potential other witness, right, the person that allegedly walked in on this, what proof is there that this happened? Well, she reportedly has photos of the bruises.
Witnesses say that when the audio played, you could hear a pin drop. Diddy's expression reportedly went from shock to anger, while his lawyers immediately requested a recess to regroup. The prosecution, on the other hand, looked like they had just hit the jackpot. Social media is, of course, exploding with reactions. Fans are divided. Some are standing by Diddy, claiming this is all part of a setup, while others are saying this audio confirms their worst suspicions.
But she also claims that in that studio, during that first interaction at the time, was Rodney Jones, that former Diddy music producer I mentioned, the one who is suing Diddy. He's known as Little Rod Jones. Remember, he had been basically living with Diddy while the two worked on his latest album. As we discussed on previous sidebars, Jones made multiple allegations against Diddy in his own lawsuit, saying that there was rampant drinking, drug use, sex during Diddy's parties. He claims that he was groped by Diddy, that he was the victim of trafficking as he was forced to engage in sex acts with sex workers. He even claims that Diddy groomed him for homosexuality and facilitated for him to be abused by actor Cuba Gooding Jr. He also claims that there are hours of audio and video footage documenting Diddy's alleged crimes and misconduct.
Hashtags related to the leak are trending, and everyone seems to have an opinion on what this could mean for Diddy's future. The audio, which was reportedly obtained through a combination of legal discovery and private investigations, includes conversations where Diddy allegedly admits to inappropriate behavior and discusses activities that directly relate to the allegations. Legal experts are calling the recordings a game changer, suggesting that they could lead to a conviction if admitted in court.
Jones taped this event with her. Yes, the lawsuit provides transcripts of audio recordings, and these audio recordings purportedly show, or you can hear, kissing sounds, her telling Combs not to touch her, her allegedly asking about whether she was drugged. Now, we haven't heard these tapes here on Law and Crime yet, but if they are what they purport to be, that is a huge piece of evidence. And remember, when we're talking a civil case, when we're talking lawsuits, the burden of proof is much lower than a criminal case. It's just preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not that this happened. So the civil suit accuses Christian of assault, battery, assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. They're a big part of this lawsuit. She goes into the mental anguish that she has gone through, the emotional harm that she has suffered as a result of that. It's important in order to prove damages. And by the way, she is claiming unspecified damages, so she hasn't put a number amount on it.
The judge overseeing the case has yet to rule on the admissibility of the audio, but the damage to Diddy's public image may already be irreversible. Now, the big question is, how did this audio get leaked? There's speculation that someone within Diddy's inner circle might have turned on him. Others believe it could have been part of a legal strategy by the prosecution. Either way, it's clear that someone wanted this information out there, and they succeeded in a big way. Friends and associates of Diddy have been quick to defend him, calling the recordings fabricated and taken out of context.
Not sure if these new allegations could play a role in a future federal criminal prosecution of Combs. We're talking so much about the investigation into them. It could be that this is just an isolated incident here and could not be part of a trafficking charge. Although I do wonder if this Christian Combs incident or alleged incident could be part of a potential RICO or racketeering charge. As I mentioned on a previous sidebar, when I laid out potential charges that Diddy could face, if we are talking about conspiracy to violate the RICO statute, RICO organized crime, that's what I'm talking about here, that there was a criminal enterprise. To prove that, you would need to show that there was an agreement to break the law, there was an agreement to have this criminal enterprise, and that there were steps or overt acts that were taken in furtherance of that criminal enterprise. Overt acts don't even have to be crimes. They could just be events. They could be things that happen.
They insist that Diddy is the victim of a smear campaign designed to tarnish his reputation and legacy. However, others close to the case suggest that the audio is credible and could have a significant impact on the outcome. The emotional toll on Diddy was evident as he sat in court, visibly shaken by the revelations. One witness described him as pale and trembling, a far cry from the confident and charismatic figure the world is used to seeing.
Further, this enterprise of illegal sex and power could be a stretch. Yes, just something that came to my mind. Now, Miss O'Markey, her attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, said after this lawsuit was filed, quote, "Like father, like son, it gives us no joy or pleasure in filing this suit against Christian Combs, who has clearly adopted his father's pattern and practice of depravity. So far, there has been no response from Christian or his attorney at the time of this lawsuit. But a little side note about Tyrone Blackburn, the attorney representing Miss O'Markey and Mr. Jones. United States District Court Judge for the Southern District of New York, Denise Coate, had some very harsh words for Mr. Blackburn and has even submitted a referral to the New York Federal Court Grievance Committee, claiming issues with Blackburn in 5 cases.
The potential consequences for Diddy are huge. If this audio is admissible in court, it could significantly strengthen the case against him. His legal team will likely argue that the recording was obtained illegally or taken out of context, but proving that might be an uphill battle. This isn't just a story about Diddy. It's about the broader issues of power and accountability in the entertainment industry. The leaked audio has sparked important conversations about how victims of abuse are treated and whether the legal system is equipped to uncover the truth.
Has been cooperating with federal authorities amid trafficking probe. But since Cassie's suit, Diddy is facing 4 other sexual conduct lawsuits, including Rodney Jones's suit, as well as civil suits accusing the rapper and producer of battery, sexual assault, gang, and having minors. The fallout from the legal saga seems to be felt throughout the entire entertainment industry, with many famous faces seemingly distancing themselves from Diddy. Several famous names have also been dragged into the mix. Prince Harry was named in Jones's suit not as a defendant or as someone accused of wrongdoing, but named as someone Diddy would use to allegedly draw guests to his infamous parties. City Girls rapper Young Miami and 50 Cent's ex Daphne Joy were named as workers in Jones's suit. Young Miami, whose real name is Carisha Brownlee, has yet to publicly comment on the sex worker allegations. Meanwhile, Daphne Joy publicly responded via Instagram, calling the accusations completely false. In a statement, she wrote, quote, "I'm deeply hurt by the lies in the Rodney Jones's lawsuit. The claim that I'm a sex worker is 100% false."
Some are calling for reforms to ensure that all evidence is thoroughly reviewed, while others argue that Diddy's situation is a consequence of his alleged actions. The case has also raised questions about the role of privilege and influence in the justice system, with many wondering whether Diddy's wealth and status have shielded him from accountability for too long. And it's not just the legal ramifications. This could also be a major hit to Diddy's brand and career. Sponsors, business partners, and fans are all going to be watching closely to see how he handles this crisis.
Diddy and his alleged sex abuse, calling the accusations offensively false. Lawyers for UMG and their CEO say Jones's inclusion of the record label is an attempt to fit a square peg in a round hole. The prestigious fashion event of the year, the Met Gala, where Diddy has been a frequent attendant, has reportedly rescinded their invite to the exclusive event. Talk shows are seemingly scrubbing mentions of the music producer. Live with Kelly and Mark re-aired old interviews this week, but during Tuesday's re-airing of an episode from June of 2023, Kelly Ripa told guest Mary J. Blige she wanted an invitation to Diddy's yacht. According to Page 6, the show tried to cover their tracks by pulling the clip off YouTube. In another report, actor Ashton Kutcher reportedly fears being subpoenaed and drawn into the investigation of his longtime friend. But there are some who are publicly supporting Diddy during the ongoing legal saga. Diddy's friend and collaborator Stevie J, who was in Diddy's Miami home when the feds raided the mansion, defended his longtime friend, saying Diddy would never break the law, and seemingly referred to the trafficking probe as a crucifixion of a black legend.
Will he issue a statement? Will he take the stand to explain himself? These are the questions everyone is asking right now. The next steps in this case are crucial. Legal experts are saying that the defense will probably try to suppress the audio or argue for a mistrial if the recording is too damaging. On the flip side, The prosecution is likely gearing up to use this audio as a cornerstone of their argument. The judge's ruling on whether this audio can be used could make or break this case.
I think you should be prepared to use your own name. I think that should be a requirement here. I do understand the balancing, but I also think that there's a greater good here, that you can look at these lawsuits through the higher scrutiny that have been filed over and over and over again. It's just, there's so many of these lawsuits that you're really starting to get numb to the allegations.
Right, and I think now, you have this lawsuit, it goes out, it makes headlines. All these details are in the world of public opinion, are going into the narrative of what everybody says of Sean Combs ahead of his criminal trial. What happens next? Like in this lawsuit's case, where there are these graphic details once again talking about something that happened years ago, what happens next?
So my guess is the defense attorneys will try to expose the individual, try to get the court to find out who the individual is. They'll do discovery. It'll move along slowly.
As the case continues to unfold, one question looms large. What's next for Diddy? Will the leaked audio lead to a conviction? Or will his legal team find a way to discredit it? And how will this explosive revelation impact his career and legacy? For now, all eyes are on the courtroom as the world waits to see how this story will unfold. Legal experts suggest that the audio could be the tipping point in the case, potentially swaying public opinion and even influencing the judge's decision.
Following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. In a statement obtained by NBC News, Jay-Z said, quote, "I would not wish this experience on anyone. The trauma that my wife, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed." Now, Busby had no comment when reached late Friday night by NBC News. Now, this dismissal comes after NBC News sat down exclusively with the accuser in an interview and subsequently found inconsistencies in her claims. One being that she said that her father drove 5 hours to pick her up after the alleged assault, but when reached by NBC News at the time, he could not remember the incident. She also claimed that she met Benji and Joel Madden at the house party, but they were touring in the Midwest at the time. When asked about her inconsistencies, she stood by her allegations. Combs, who is currently behind bars awaiting his criminal trial on trafficking, said that the dismissal is, quote, "another confirmation that these lawsuits are built on falsehoods." He's been sued by multiple people who allege misconduct, claims he denies.
At the same time, Diddy's team is reportedly working around the clock to counter the damaging evidence, but the road ahead looks increasingly difficult. And let me tell you, this isn't the first time an audio leak has rocked a high-profile case. We've seen it happen before, where a few minutes of recorded audio completely flipped the narrative. The public often forgets how powerful a recording can be. It's raw, it's real, and there's no spinning it. That's why Diddy's team is in full-blown crisis mode right now.
Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of a reality when they were applying for these search warrants. How so, and how could this impact the case?
The defense believes the search warrant applications were overbroad, allowing the government to effectively rummage through all of Diddy's iCloud accounts, his homes, that the federal agents were none too shy when they showed up, with guns drawn. They also said that they didn't give the magistrate judge who signed the search warrant applications a full picture and excluded things that could be helpful to Diddy's defense and included accounts from some unnamed producer, for one, who they say was just not a credible witness.
Now, this also comes as one of Diddy's attorneys is stepping away from the case. What's the latest on that, and what are the next steps in this case?
Anthony Ricci gave no reason other than to say he could not, in good conscience, continue to represent Sean Combs under no circumstances.
The leaked audio has also had a profound impact on Diddy's family and close associates. Sources close to the Combs family reveal that they've been left reeling by the revelations, with some struggling to reconcile the man they know with the person heard in the recordings. Diddy's children, who have largely remained silent throughout the legal battle, are said to be devastated by the latest developments. One insider described the family as heartbroken and in shock, adding that they're doing their best to support Diddy during this difficult time. There are also rumors swirling that this might not be the only recording out there. Some insiders are suggesting that this could just be the tip of the iceberg. If more audio leaks, it could create a domino effect, dragging more people into the scandal and exposing even more secrets. You've got to wonder, who else might be caught up in this mess?
Diddy is going to want to put up a front of an innocent person. And sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Right now, investigators are going through the evidence that they seized. What they're really looking for are videos of the alleged abuse. If prosecutors have that information, we're talking about days or weeks before Diddy is charged. He may go to prison for the rest of his life.
Take it like it's a championship fight, and I'm ready to go.
Of course, Diddy's lawyer called the raid and allegations a witch hunt, but the Department of Homeland Security maintains they believe that there is a disturbing history of trafficking and are responding to concrete, detailed, explicit allegations. A surprising person weighing in on the Diddy investigation? Longtime hip-hop rival and incarcerated Death Row Records co-founder Suge Knight. He offered some ominous advice from his prison podcast, Collect Call with Suge Knight, where he is serving a 28-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter.
This case is also having a ripple effect across the entertainment industry. Many of Diddy's former collaborators and business partners are now distancing themselves from him, fearing that their own reputations could be tarnished by association. Some are even calling for a broader investigation into the music industry, arguing that Diddy's case is just the tip of the iceberg. The leaked audio has reignited debates about the culture of silence and complicity in Hollywood, with many calling for greater transparency and accountability.
High-profile clients, and the first thing that comes to mind when we get these lawsuits in, not just of this nature, but any of them, is that the people are about money. This is a civil lawsuit, and at the end of the day, Cassie would receive money if she wins. So the first defense is always going to be that these claims are made up, that they're exaggerated, that none of this happened. She simply wants money. She knows that Sean Combs has it, and she wants a piece of it. That's the first and most natural defense.
So Cassie's legal team, how are they going to handle questions about why she stayed in the relationship as long as she did and then waited so long to report the allegations?
Absolutely. That's a tough issue because when you're in a relationship for that long, sometimes things build up where you go in and you're being wined and dined and everything is good, and gradually things get worse. So if I'm on her team as her attorney, I'm making it clear that that's what happened here.
As more details come to light, we're hearing that this recording might have been captured during a private meeting. If true, that could open a whole new can of legal worms. Issues of privacy, consent, and how the audio was obtained could become focal points of the case. Diddy's lawyers are likely preparing to argue that this recording was taken out of context, or possibly even doctored. But will that argument hold up in court? That's the million-dollar question.
So whenever you hear about suppression, trying to keep up evidence and credibility of a witness, what they're talking about is called a Franks hearing. It's basically saying that the information that was given to the magistrate judge either had omissions or lies in them. And if the judge had all the proper information, the defense is making the argument that they would not have gotten that search warrant. And so the judge is going to look at it from two different points. He's going to look at it and say, okay, was there material lie or some sort of reckless disregard from the truth? That's kind of the language we're hearing from the attorneys. And was that material in a way that it affected the outcome of the warrant? And if that's true, they get to have a hearing, and if they can prove those elements, that warrant is void, and anything that comes from that warrant gets thrown out.
Wow.
And that would be a real problem because the defense is talking about not just the searches of the homes, but Diddy's iCloud accounts, his electronic devices, his hotel room here in New York after his arrest. Pretty much everything.
Everything in the warrant could get thrown out if they win this argument. But
wow,
it's a big
okay.
if.
So let's talk, we were talking about Diddy's attorney calling it quits, and here's what he said in a federal court filing: under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs.
As we wait for the next chapter in this unfolding drama, one thing is clear. This is a story that will have far-reaching consequences. Whether you're a fan of Diddy or a critic of his alleged actions, there's no denying that this case is a watershed moment for the entertainment industry. It's a reminder that no one is above the law, and that the truth has a way of coming to light, no matter how powerful the person involved may be. And it doesn't stop there. The legal repercussions could be just the beginning.
And they're going to want to know why it took 25 years to report. Because the defense is going to argue that this was all fabricated, this was a money grab, they're just piling on. So you really want to kind of go back in time and say, well, look, I told a friend, I told a family member, and they can come corroborate my account of what happened, as opposed to, her being the 100th person who's filed a civil lawsuit by the same lawyer, it can be somewhat challenging when the report doesn't happen until many years later. Now, I understand the psychology of an abuse victim. I'm not saying it's not true. Many victims, they don't want to come forward and share their story and be re-victimized again. And when you do have a Cassie Ventura who was with Diddy for so long and she tells her story, then there's a Me Too type movement where there's strength in numbers. So I'm not saying I don't believe the victim in this case, but it's something that is going to be important when that case goes to a jury, because that's the question that those jurors are going to have.
If the audio leak impacts Diddy's business deals, we could see a wave of partners distancing themselves from him. Contracts could be canceled, endorsements dropped, and collaborations pulled. In the entertainment industry, reputation is everything, and this kind of scandal can cause a massive ripple effect. So, where do things go from here? All eyes are on the courtroom, and you can bet this story is far from over. As more details emerge, we'll be here breaking it all down and bringing you the latest updates. What do you think? Is this leaked audio the smoking gun in Diddy's case? Or could there be more to the story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.